by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Come back with the mentality of us being 0-0. We got no wins, no losses. We got something to prove. Coach knew we was going to play sloppy. We didn't hoop in 3 weeks. We was expecting to play slow, start up slow. He wasn't really mad about the score.
Just came back, we practiced hard, and we were ready for the game. I would say that we communicate a lot because that's how we can stop the shooters. When you pass the ball in the paint, we just got to talk, communicate.
I think it's a huge benefit for us. When we couldn't come back until Friday, the 29th. So, if you're looking at a Tuesday game, and to think if we would have tried to go Friday and turn around for a game on Tuesday, I think it would have been really rusty.
Peyton Manning was 0-3 in the playoffs once upon a time. I was hosting the show where we talked about, is Manning never going to make it? Is he cannot win the big game? And he was a lot older than Lamar Jackson.
He's been doubted from day one that he was drafted by the Miami Dolphins for numerous different reasons, whether because he couldn't stay healthy, whether he was a guy who couldn't elevate in the biggest of games, what have you. Whatever the situation was, people doubted him.
It sucks to see them lose their two DNs, Phillips and Chow. It's a really good young pairing in the league right now. They were playing as good as anybody in the league. Personnel-wise, they're going to be slightly different than, like I said, than what we've seen. Just trying to get a feel earlier of what they're trying to do.
A good number, 80% of the teams in college football steal signs. It's just a thing about football. In 2020 or 2019, like when Ohio State was stealing our signs, which is legal, and they were doing it the legal way, we had to, make it an even playing field.
And then the Chiefs traditionally end the Bengals season. It's a particularly amazing thing to witness. The Bengals fans physically transform into pillars of pure salt as they melt down. Soon after, the entire Cincinnati area transforms into a city of salt. Amazing stuff, and it's happening right now.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. It is the Thursday show. Steve Webster back in here to bring some clarity and to throw things out of here like never again the NBA being talked about on this show until I'm gone next week.
Until next Monday.
Then you'll be NBA full-time. Yeah, we're getting things underway here. Sounds the past 24 hours, biblical references. Ah, yes, the Sports Day on the air here in the Golden Belt. On the Thursday show, head coach Kyle Cree of the 7th-ranked Great Bend Panthers. He will be in to talk about the first 7 games of the year. Panthers went 6-1, only loss coming to Junction City. And they'll play at Garden City tomorrow night. We'll talk Barton Wrestling with head coach Nathan Brockelman. And Mike Corson is back on the with Gannon Riker, Great Bend Panther wrestling coach. So a good lineup here on today's show. Let's get to our sounds of the past 24 hours. Brent Moss came off the bench last night, 16 points to lead the Barton Cougars to a 76-69 win over Coffeyville. Barton men now 12-1 on the season. They get this weekend off, except they're going to be running a basketball camp. Go to bartonsports.com to check that out if you want to have your kiddos go out there. Aaron, you could go out there and get some tips and be ready for that half-court shot.
I don't think it's going to be able to happen this year. I'm going to have to stay manned on the broadcast this year, staying at the helm. I'm free of my half-court duties.
Let's start with the fundamentals. I've shot layups with our friend here, and we'll start inside the paint.
You can tell I was a wrestler. Like, you can tell there's only one sophomore year of basketball for me, and even that year I was a defensive specialist.
I would think he would have good footwork, being a tackle and all.
See,
something about that round ball.
I was going to say, it's just the footwork isn't the issue. It's actually being able to keep my hand, like keep the ball in hand, keep the dribble going. Sometimes it goes off the foot, sometimes it goes off the knee. It's pretty rough.
So that's why you get so excited during a broadcast when a kid makes a layup.
Exactly, because I'm like, look at him. Especially, he gets the ball at half court and like gracefully goes in. That's out of my wheelhouse.
Big win. Go. Yes.
Also, remember youth basketball, maybe there was one big kid in the league. What was the strategy for that team? Throw it up. Throw it up. Nobody learned anything.
I probably got 6 offensive rebounds before every bucket I made in youth basketball. It was just shoot, miss, shoot, miss, shoot, miss, grabbing my own board every time until I finally put it up.
On the stat sheet, huh?
I definitely finishing with more rebounds on the season than points.
Barton gets the win. They are now 7-1. Cali remains 8-0. They got a win last night, so there's an impressive season. They're 13-1. 76-69, Barton wins. Cali won 90-70, and Hutchinson last night beating Butler 63-60. So Hutch is 6-1 in the conference. Butler now 5-2. Then you've got Cloud County and Garden City 5-3. What a night for the Barton women. They hold Coffeyville to 40 points. Coffey was ranked 23rd in the country. Lady Cougars get the victory as they win it last night 51-40. Woo! Kezia Bertoni talking about communicating, knowing where the shooters are. 40 points.
Lowest output for the Coffeyville Red Ravens in the series history.
Well, Bertoni had 20 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. So the Barton women get a much-needed win, and they moved up in the standings. They passed Coffeyville. They're in 4th right now, tied for 3rd with Dodge City 6-2. Butler goes down for the first time last night. The 3rd-ranked Lady Grizz lose to Hutchinson, and they lost bad last night, 73-54. So Hutch now remains unbeaten. They were ranked 11th. Hutch 7-0, Butler 6-1, 12-1 overall. And then you have Dodge City and Barton 6-2, Coffeyville 5-2, and Garden City 5-3. Cindy Beck on the show yesterday saying that she was thankful they didn't have to play that game yesterday, a Tuesday night game. After 3 days of practice, they'll get a break and return to the court tomorrow at Garden City.
And we kind of talked about it there at the end of December. It felt like we had a late game playing on the 19th. Felt a little close to Christmas, but very nice not having to play that Tuesday game. I think they could resume practice on the Friday before, so you had 3 days before you're trying to play your first game of 2024. Lady Panthers get a little more time, especially nice because they're going to be starting WAC play tomorrow. Going to be in their favor.
Somehow I hear Kyle Haxton, who's listening to the show now, saying, how about 3 practice days before your first game of the season?
Yeah, no, some of those Hoisington teams was a little rough, short on practice time.
I hated basketball practice when you come back from the Christmas break. It was always like because the gym, they weren't heating the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be cold, and that first cold sweat after you hadn't done anything for 6 days.
Your warm-ups never rang quite so true as when you're actually warming up the building itself.
Yeah.
Sweat always smelled like eggnog.
Yeah. Okay, let me get this down here. So exactly what does eggnog sweat smell like?
Is this a documentary? Smells like eggnog, nutmeggy.
Okay.
Just comes up back out your pores.
Well, that's the other thing. But, returning from Christmas holiday, you got nutmeg sweat. So anyway, they'll get back in action tomorrow. Which again, high school high school basketball. It's always first season's over with. Now you start the second one. Then we'll have tournament week in a couple weeks. Hesh. Come on, be excited.
Well, I was just going to go back to Hoisington and Kyle Haxton. They probably enjoyed the Christmas break because they got to practice, and they looked a lot better than they had been. So,
they're coming off a win on Tuesday.
And 3 days off, like you said. They hadn't practiced for 4 days before the season, so what's another 3 days?
Okay, Mike Greenberg, Greeny, ESPN, saying that Peyton Manning lost his first 3 playoff games, didn't hurt him, as he came back to have a Hall of Fame career. And he thinks that Lamar Jackson will be that guy. Lamar Jackson will sit in the game, in the finale. Really, you can understand it. But the best way, I would think, the Ravens, look at their last 2 games. Good night.
Very
now,
strong.
You're not going to play for 3 weeks. Last time they were the number 1 seed, and they didn't play for 3 weeks. Lamar laid a big egg. But again, that was then, this is now.
It's a delicate balance they have to play with because they've also had the injury issues to Lamar. You don't want to put him out there, especially when you already have the 1 seed banged up. But there is definitely some credence to your thought. You don't like seeing him have to sit for 3 weeks, especially that's a long time in football terms. Like, there's not a lot of times where you have 3 weeks off if it's not the off season. So going to be an interesting way trying to keep the players involved.
It's just you're out on the field and the bullets are flying, and you haven't.
There's no way to simulate games. There's no way to simulate games at any level, I assume, much less the NFL when you have the top-tier athletes flying around at top speed. You won't have that in practice. It's going to be interesting to see how Coach John Harbaugh, been talking about the other Harbaugh brother too much, how much John Harbaugh wants to play the game and how he wants to game it for the Ravens.
How did the Chiefs handle it? Did they wait for 3, or did they play Mahomes in the last game for just a quarter? I can't remember now, but
I think they did. I think they gave him a little bit and then took him out. But this year they're kind of saying the same thing. Just pulled Mahomes out, let him rest the last week. Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah,
time to shine.
About time to get Gabbert in there. I'll show you what's going on.
It's going to be the most anticipated game of the week. Easton Stick versus Blaine Gabbert.
Hey, remember Patrick Mahomes' first start was in the final game of the season at Denver, and they ended up trading Alex Smith in the offseason. I don't think that'll happen here, but yeah, you'd see the Chiefs. And there's some other players that are supposed to. Travis Kelce's going to play until he gets 16 yards receiving, which the way the recent games have gone, he may have to play the whole game.
So he'll be playing into the mid-fourth quarter.
And you have a defensive tackle that needs a half sack to get a roster bonus.
So I mean, he's going to want to be playing.
Yeah, I like that. And give some of those receivers, I don't know, Rashee Rice, I saw this. Okay, a hamstring? That's kind of concerning at this time of year. Don't let him play. Let MVC or Marquez Valdez Scantling, let him get in there and see what it's like to catch a ball again.
Just get him a few easy ones,
Put Reed in there. Yeah, see what can happen. Maybe
scheme up some plays, build up some confidence there. And I agree that the hamstring issue at this time of year, because those can kind of be nagging and mess with you for 3 or 4 weeks. It's not what you're wanting heading into the playoffs for who's arguably been the Chiefs' best wide receiver this season.
Chiefs, man, that was a fun game on Sunday.
Nice to see him.
Kickers.
I was going to say, nice to see him get back in the win column.
At least they won a tough game.
And what we've been saying all year, their defense keeping them in that one. It's nice to see that side of the ball be able to perform. You'd like the offense to kind of keep up a little more.
So how can the Chief defense start faster? I mean, this would say the Chiefs are obviously making some great adjustments, right?
I think
Until
part of
the
it
Raiders game, when the Raiders decide to just run it down their throat late in the game. But
when the Chiefs can put the other team in passing situations, their defense can really shine. It lets Chris Jones pin his ears back, and then you have guys like George Karlaftis on the edge who can just really pin back and try to launch after it. And they've got good coverage guys, too. The secondary's been a little banged up, but L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, that's a pretty solid corner tandem. And you got Nick Bolton over the middle. He can handle run duties and protect the pass.
What did you think? I thought Bolton... He didn't have a very good game against the Bengals, I didn't think.
And I wonder how much of that...
He looks thick. I don't know.
Some of that, though, because they have some very good skill positions that put your middle linebacker in some tough spots.
But there was a pass out in the flat, and it's like he broke down when the guy, he needed to go up and see if he could make the tackle because he ended up getting the first down.
He was dealing with some injury issues earlier in the season, and so I'm curious how...
Well, it's just wrist, right?
Yeah, but the hesitation there that could be causing, because if he's not 100%, which no one in the NFL at this point is 100% heading into Week 18, but if that is kind of causing some hesitation, because he did show some little, because one of his hallmarks is just flying around like his hair's on fire.
He was like a half.
Yeah, it was just a half step behind.
Okay, let's see. Louis Riddick, ESPN, Tua Tagovailoa may be feeling the heat. They have to go to Buffalo. Dolphins battling injuries. Their defense is decimated right now. So Josh Allen talking about the matchup. If I had 2 really good defensive ends that weren't going to play, I don't think I'd be too disappointed. But I guess
I thought it was hilarious that the opposing quarterback is like, if it's another defensive player, like if it was Gregory Rousseau, defensive end for the Bills, it'd be one thing because he's like, I wanted to see them and like watch how they did it. But it's the opposing quarter. You're not going to miss having Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips come and try to take your head off.
No. So
I do think to Riddick's point, it would be very disappointing for the Dolphins to have this incredible season, be building momentum all season long, be a favorite in the AFC at one point, just to lose the division to the Bills. That'd be a heartbreaker. There's a lot of pressure down there in Miami.
I'd say you got Buffalo playing hot. It's on their field. It's presumably going to be a little bit colder than Miami's used to. To me, all the pressure's on Miami. And
well, Miami traditionally, you look at the all-time when they go north of the Mason-Dixon line in December, it's not very good. So this is interesting because right now, as they stand, it would be the Chiefs hosting Buffalo. And I heard people, boy, I'm scared of that. I'd rather face Buffalo in Kansas City, even though they've lost to them there. I get it out of the way now. I'd rather play Buffalo at home instead of go to Buffalo.
That's what I was going to say. Give Buffalo the 2 seed, and then maybe Kansas City has to meet them in the championship
Or the
round.
best thing would be for Miami to win, and then Buffalo just for the 3 things to happen.
Right, and then Buffalo gets a bounce.
You should have done better early in the year.
Because I agree, Buffalo is still the team that if you have to play them in the playoffs, you want to play them at home just to have any advantage you can, but goodness gracious, they've been rolling here recently.
So I kind of just watched the games on TV. Kansas City still could lock up 2?
They're locked into 3. That's why Mahomes isn't playing this week. 2 goes to the winner of the AFC East. The 1 is Baltimore, and then 4 is the winner of the...
Buffalo gets shuffled all the way out.
Buffalo... Because if Buffalo gets shuffled all the way out, then that means Miami won, and so they get the 2 seed.
Okay, gotcha.
And so then the 3 goes to Kansas City. The 4 goes to, I think it's Jacksonville at this point, but I think Texans...
Jacksonville's wins.
If Jacksonville wins, they get the 4 seed. I think the Texans can still technically win the AFC South, or maybe the Colts. That whole division is kind of a heated mess and a lot more of a fun way than the NFC South.
Well, hopefully everything falls and Buffalo's not even in it. So.
Yeah, my point was that Mahomes on the road. Hey, what if those top 2 teams lose early? AFC champion or whatever championship.
We've seen it happen before. Kansas City not get the 1 seed, and then inevitably the AFC does end up running through Arrowhead. It's happened. It'd be nice if it can happen this year, just because.
I'd like a different way. You know, you don't want to conquer the league the same way every year. You want to change it up. Okay, this will be a story that they'll go on the road to do it.
They could
Hopefully
happen.
not in Buffalo.
Hopefully they don't have to travel to the Northeast.
Yeah, I would love for Miami to somehow win that game. That would be.
They still easily have a chance. Just that offense has proven to be explosive. Buffalo kind of corralled it earlier this year, but I still wouldn't feel comfortable betting that, they're going to get shut out. They'll have to throw into Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They're a little down on the offensive line. They're a little down on the defense.
Waddle healthy yet?
I think he's been trending towards that way, is the way it looked, but I don't know.
They gave up 56 in their last outing, so that was against the mighty, mighty Ravens. Oh, yes. Okay, then what else we have? Okay, J.J. McCarthy, Michigan quarterback, says the sign-stealing scandal has overshadowed the work the team has put in to go unbeaten and reach the college football playoff championship game. As I said this morning, all this signs, let the quarterback call the plays. That's the way we did it back in my day. Or they ran a guy in with the play.
It'd be a lot more entertaining to watch the quarterback call the play in there.
Yeah, you got the feeling. You know the offense.
How many bootlegs would you have been running? I feel like you would have been a big boot guy, especially in the modern age. Let your legs do some work for you, get some guys out of position, and then just rifle a pass behind
and
them.
you split an end out. And then I just follow the fullback in for a touchdown. And quarterback sneak at the 1 was one of my favorite calls, too.
They didn't have tush push back then.
No.
It was just all you in the center versus the nose guard and the middle linebacker.
I feel like it'd more go like this. My play. Why don't you guys do some running this time?
Hey, that was the way it was back in the day. You played both ways. And I've never been more tired in my entire life than high school football games.
And the sign stealing, though.
We didn't have like a 60-man roster, you were kicking off.
Playing both ways and special teams.
The leather helmets were a little lighter.
Yeah, but if you had a bar right down the middle, though, it looked pretty cool with the doghouse helmets. Yeah, all right, I'll bring my... I had the Joe Namath. I had the mask without the...
You're Joe Cool.
And finally, the most concerning thing I've heard. Taylor Swift.
Ish.
The thrill of watching Cincinnati fans in the city turn into pillars of salt after having their season ended by the Chiefs. Of course, our friend AI.
Yeah, would a professional...
Where do we get our news from besides Hesher now? And Mike Corson on the 707.
I get all my ideas from Hesh. So.
Hesh is the brains of the operation. Everyone can see
so
that.
some people actually investigated it. They just didn't believe it right away. And
there hasn't been any backlash online, and you'd think a big celebrity like that torching a whole big city like Cincinnati would have generated something. As of a couple days ago, there was nothing, so I investigated further, and even though it's a video with her mouth moving to the words, it does appear to be fake. It sounds just like her, though.
Okay. They're too busy defending Skyline Chili in Cincinnati to have to worry about what Taylor Swift is saying. They've got their own bigger battles to fight.
Gosh, when's it going to end? I'm concerned.
And I don't know enough about Pillars of Salt to know if somebody just ripped off a speech and put her voice to it. But whoever wrote that was kind of funny.
Okay. I want to hear some AI stuff with Hesh on Trading Post. Or would we need AI? Really? I love the text you got this morning, Hesh.
AI cannot do what Hesh does on Trading Post. He doesn't have the character.
Day. I mean, I got a text sent to me. He said, is Hesh doing the Trading Post from the VFW today?
It was quite entertaining this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah. All right,
I got one similar, so yes, it was not just you.
Okay. Went to Buc-ee's down in Springfield. That was exciting. Got my picture taken with the big beaver. And the other thing was, so if you have a Buc-ee's that's packed, right? Oh, you like that? But just imagine the Buc-ee's completely empty.
It's a lot of eyeballs.
They would be closed. There would be nothing going on. So that's the way it is down at Fort Leonard Wood now, because they're not having any basic training going on. So the boy took me into one of these basic training things. I thought maybe they had like a room with like 6 beds, you know.
Were you in the barracks?
Yeah. No, man, it's like a big room with bunk, 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 bunk. And then there's 2 bunks that are in the middle. And those are for the ones that they're kind of worried about, you know. So
the problem kids.
Yeah, so everybody can watch them.
Gomer?
Yeah, and they've got this classroom. He went into this button, and he hit it, and these screens. Yeah, they came to. It was like. But it was like you were into some place that there's normally just nothing but yelling and pain and discomfort, and you were there.
So here's your homework. Watch Child's Play 3, Chucky's on the military grounds, and then go back by yourself and see if you can take it in the dark.
But did he put you through a training out? Like, did you have to go through one of his drills or no?
No.
I was hoping David would run you through it.
No, what you do is say, no, drill sergeant, I refuse to train. That's how you get out of the Army.
Nice. Good
no,
to know.
Drill sergeant, I refuse to train, and then you have to stay there the whole time anyway.
And they just make you do grunt work.
Yeah.
Did you get to say, I got nowhere else to go? Officer and a gentleman.
All right. Really?
Richard Gere and was it Louis Gossett?
Yeah. Because he found a benefipotamus that found him and got out of a small town and poverty and went out with a lieutenant or whatever. Yeah, that was, or a triceratops. I don't know what, it's one of the two. Okay, Sports Day continues after this, as we'll be talking Barton Wrestling with Nathan Brockelman.
Attention high school juniors. Explore your career paths at Barton Community College's Junior Day on February 14th. This fun and free day features an on-campus tour, giveaways, yard games, pizza, and did we mention $3,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs. Learn about a variety of career paths, some of which can get you into the workforce and making money in just one semester. Sign up online now through February 1st at juniorday.bartoncc.edu.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Amy Herrera, Regional Retail Manager for your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many people navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you how we're committed to serving you in our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes. Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Barton wrestling coach Nathan Brockelman joining us here as the new year is underway. And so how do you handle that with the wrestling team over the holiday break, Nathan?
Well, give them a little time off, let them go home. Hopefully they can get some workout in back home with, some of their old teammates or their old coaches and bring them back in and just get back to work and get ready for our conference schedule.
Are those practices fun?
Yeah, they're not too bad. They get a little bit monotonous. We try to play a few games here and there or have some fun some way or another anyway. So.
Okay, yeah, it's the holiday practices coming back. They don't bring up good memories. So
and there's a lot of downtime because they don't have classes yet.
Mm-hmm.
We've been on campus going since December 30th, and I don't think classes start till the 9th. So got a lot of downtime. So we just try to entertain them a little bit and do some team building activities and things like that. But some of us just hanging out, learn how to I guess be on your own or at least make some new friends on the team if they haven't already.
Okay, so Avery Wolf was in here on the final show before Christmas, and he'd been injured. Talk about any other guys fighting injuries that maybe had time to heal up a little bit?
Yeah, we got some kids still kind of battling injuries. Easton's elbow still a little banged up. We're going to kind of see what it looks like for him, and Avery should be good to go. Our 197-pounder had a concussion, and he should be fine now, and our 74-pounder rolled an ankle right before Christmas, but he's back in the room and everything's kind of going. Everything's good right now. Everyone's kind of got some of those nagging injuries just from either past things that just never could ever heal up correctly from maybe being a 3-sport athlete and different things like that, and just continuing to go, or just something that just kind of nags around as you get older.
So if there's injuries in different sports that sometimes you can get by with something, say in football, but what's the worst injury that someone's got to try to fight through if you're wrestling? I don't know.
Obviously a concussion.
Right,
that just puts you out. You can't really do anything about that.
That's kind of anything.
You can't really do anything about that.
I'll include that. Is it legs? Is it shoulders?
I'd say probably a shoulder or knee, maybe. You got braces and things, but knees you can kind of protect a little bit more, but your shoulders get pretty vulnerable because, you go on bottom, if you can't quite get away quick enough, there's not a lot you can do if they start cranking on a shoulder other than roll or just fight it.
Okay. All right. So, adding free agents anybody become eligible or come out at the semester?
So in JCAA, you cannot transfer. You cannot transfer someone in a semester. You can transfer them in, and they can be part of your team, but they cannot compete for you.
Okay.
I didn't realize that till like mid-October when I'd been kind of chatting to a few kids to try to get a 125-pounder in at semester, and then all of a sudden I went to ask our compliance guy. He said, "Oh no, you can't do that." So I was like, "Oh well, maybe I'll get him to come here next year, I guess." Well,
it's the contacts you make, right?
Yeah, and so, but we do have a kid joining us coming down. He'll be a walk-on. He won't get here till February, but he's gonna come be a part of the team and hopefully come back the next couple of years, or at least the next year, and see what he can do.
Okay, so the schedule gets underway a week from yesterday, basically, heading down to Parsons.
It'll actually be home.
Oh, that's home. Okay, gosh, yeah, that's what you're talking to Aaron Clark about. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so you got Labette in here and Cali. These are conference duels.
Yep, conference duels start basically every Wednesday in January. We only host one set, and that's going to be this coming Wednesday on the 10th. We'll host Cali and Labette. Labette and Cali will duel first, starting at 4 o'clock, and then we'll probably do a 15 to 20-minute break. I'd say a rough estimated time would be 5:30 is when we duel Labette. and a rough guess of between 6:30 and 7 when we'd start our duel with Cali. We'll let Labette go first, the first 2 duels, since they got the farthest travel, and we'll take this last 2 duels so we can hopefully just not go cold in between, session 1 and session 3.
So if someone's been and watched high school duels as far as points and things like that, what's the difference if you go out there and watch this collegiate duel? What's the scoring?
Team scores the exact same.
Okay.
Team scores all the same. Decisions 3, majors 4, techs 5, pin or forfeit 6. The only difference would be the match scoring. Takedowns are 3 instead of 2. And in college, you can get a near fall 2, 3, or 4, and it's based off of how many swipes they get. In high school, it's based on you get 2 swipes, it's 2 points. If you get 5 swipes, it's 3 points. But in college, if you get 2 swipes, it's 2, 3 swipes, it's 3, 4 swipes, it's 4, as far as back points go. But otherwise, there's a lot more stalling called in college. Tries to push the action a little bit more. It's going to be a lot more physical than a high school match. So sometimes you're kind of like, oh man, that was a pretty good shot, but it's all fun in college world.
So, like if you're, Trenton Kern, that's no worry at all about just taking a guy and throwing him down and winning the match.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some of the kids that are a little more physical in high school. You see them transition a little bit easier with physicality, but some of them still get rocked a little bit, especially some of those opens we go to where they're wrestling a senior who was 21, 22 years old, and they're 17 or 18 years old. Big difference in strength, and when you get older, you call it dad strength, I guess you could say.
Okay.
When you get a little bit older and maybe not working out as much, but for some reason you still find some extra strength when you're wrestling around with some kids. So
I always call that girth. Okay. That's the biggest advantage when you get older. So you get a little bit more girth in there to handle that. Okay, Labette and Cali. How many times have you run into them first semester and some of the wrestlers?
We've seen Labette quite a bit. We dueled Labette early, and they hammered us pretty good. We were missing a few of our guys, but they are pretty good. I think they're flirting with the top 10 in the NJCAAs right now, heading after Christmas break. Cali, we've only matched up. I don't know if we've actually matched up with any of the Cali guys. We've seen them at a few opens, maybe one open. They were originally going to come to our open, and they backed out, but they only had like 6 entries, so I don't really know what they'll be bringing. We haven't really seen them. I'd like to think, the Cali matchup be a little more favorable, that maybe we pick up a dual win. We are 0-5 on the year right now. Be nice to pick up for me personally, a first collegiate dual win. Have had plenty at the high school level. Was pretty close to the 100-win mark going into this year as far as my career duels, but not one at the collegiate level yet. So it'd be nice to kick one off here right after Christmas break.
Any invitationals left? I know you were going to go to Friends.
We're going to go to Friends. It's canceled. So unfortunately, we're not able to fill something this year. It is something we'll look at next year. I know, Hastings, Nebraska hosts one, but it was this coming weekend, January 6th, and just couldn't get things coordinated quick enough to be able to get us up there for this year. But, next year we'll look at maybe going up to Hastings. They have a big NJCAA dual tournament down at NEO in Miami, Oklahoma, I believe. I don't know if that's in Miami or not. But
at NEO, yeah.
NEO
and
Miami.
you even said it right. You said Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
But they have a big dual tournament, 2-day dual tournament that maybe we'll look at getting into next year too, just to get some more matches, especially for some of those guys that maybe aren't our varsity guy, but need some extra matches, because a lot of times you don't get the exhibitions you normally do, like in your triangulars, because unfortunately, when you get too many extra matches in a duel, you got to pay the ref another duel. So kind of a budget factor is what some coaches look at. I'm down for our kids to get as many matches as possible that are getting exhibitions. So.
High school, they try to call it the fifth quarter, and then just try to slide it in there. So yes, I don't like that. Okay, got all your weight classes filled, and all the slots full going into these duels.
Yep, minus 125. We should be full. So we'll give up a forfeit at 125 pounds, unfortunately, for the whole year. That's something we're working for the next year, and but for this year we'll just be giving up one open, so we'll be down 6 points every duel. But we're down 2 opens at Benedictine and almost beat Otero, so hopefully our guys can pull through and just counteract that open weight.
How do the Clarks do on your PA for home matches?
They do a good job. They get the crowd a little rowdy a little bit, and make sure they're pronouncing kids' names correctly, and kind of know what I guess you could know what I expect, I guess, at least out of a PA, and it's kind of nice to be able to bring them alongside up here at the collegiate level. I know they always did all our high school stuff, and it's kind of nice to have someone that, at least I don't have to, it sounds bad, but try to explain what I want, because they've kind of been with me for a few years anyways, to kind of see what we want to do. So
that's perfect. So the Aaron gloves are, and for 3, do they have that? I don't know.
Some do. I don't know.
I was gonna say,
we haven't ever really done that. One difference, I never got around to it at the high school level, but we do have walkout songs for the kids, so kind of coordinating that kind of thing. Just something that we never ever got around to doing at the high school. We did a lot of other cool things with the spotlight and the gong and everything like that. And there's no spotlight out at Barton. I'd like to be able to see if maybe we can't do the same thing like they did and put a spotlight out there, but I don't know if they'll go for that out there yet. I
have a feeling they will.
It's a fun atmosphere. We can turn down those lights. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and just try to get kids pumped up.
Well, appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week, and hopefully have some good results to talk about from your duels next Wednesday.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, that is Nathan Brockelman here on Sports Day. We'll be back to talk Panther basketball. Kyle Creed next.
Love your phone but tired of your current provider? Bring your device to Next-Tech Wireless and experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansans. For a limited time, get 4 lines with unlimited data for $100. Have questions? Call or text our local customer care team at 877-621-2600. Next-Tech Wireless. Home on the range.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars!
It's time to talk Great Bend High School basketball. Head coach Kyle Creed on Sports Day. Sports Day.
Back on Sports Day. Head coach Kyle Creed joining us in the studio. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's we start season number 2 tomorrow, right? Is it tomorrow? Right? That's kind of the way I always look at it. Because you play the first 6, 7 games, then you take a break, and then you come back a break, and then you come back and play. But here we go, tournament play. But here we go.
We're excited. We're excited. You guys too. You guys we had a good break. We had a good break. We're excited for our games tomorrow night against Garden City.
Okay, so how do you handle a break? How do you handle a break? I mean, you set strategies from try different things. Or when you can't practice.
I think just giving the guys a break, letting them be with their families, enjoying that time away from basketball, because it is such a grind, because it is such a grind and such a long season. I watched some film and started pretty early on Garden City. I didn't necessarily give them 5 days like that. So I did. We had our scouting reports ready to go. Our clips ready to go. They could look at that because I know they're with family, but they also got some free time. So I'm just started preparing for Garden a little bit, looking at touch a little bit on the 29th. On the 29th, they got back in there, we were running and races and off to the races.
Cindy Beck kind of talked about it yesterday. How thankful she was that you didn't have to play like a lot of schools. Like a lot of schools, you had that Tuesday. You had that little bit extra time in there. That's pretty short break. Jumping right out there for Tuesday.
And I know the game's got to be scheduled and stuff like that. And I talked to another coach
another
that, has
coach
kind of given up basketball, but we were kind of talking about how crazy it would be to actually just have 3 days play and stuff like that. So it doesn't seem like that. So it doesn't seem like playing on January 2nd would be the reasonable thing to do from a coaching standpoint. But I'm glad that we got a little bit more time to kind of get in shape and review some stuff.
Hayes isn't playing until the 12th. That's a really long break. That's a really long.
Yeah, that's a questionable decision too. But we'll just let Hayes, man. We'll let Hayes do it. We'll let Hayes do it.
Okay, so you lay off and things like that. So what goes first? I mean, is it execution? Is it intensity or what is it when you have a layoff over the holidays?
I think it's legs. Yeah, I mean, I think it's legs. If you watched that Barton game last night, was a little sluggish. Half was a little kind of what you expect when you come off of a long break. They actually had a little bit longer break than we did. So I think the main thing for us is just making sure we get back in the gym and get some shots up and really focus on what's important on our defensive side of things and offensive side of things.
Okay. Kyle Cree with us here on Sports Day today. 6-1 overall, 7th in Class 5A. Most pleasing thing for you from the first 7 games of the season.
I mean, you can look at a lot of stats and who you beat and stuff like that. But I think from a coaching standpoint, it's kind of cool that our team is really coming together. Our team is really coming together. We're gelling. So we're gelling. The team chemistry is awesome. We actually had a kid miss a practice over break. He had to do yesterday. He had to do a little extra running. And I plan on a lot more than what he did. A couple of sprints. We actually had some upperclassmen that got on the line with him. Then everybody else followed. So I think from a coaching standpoint, when you think outside of wins and losses and O's and stats and stuff like that, that was kind of cool to see.
Okay, so we've talked about stat sheets before, what you look at, what I look at. So the peripherals, you might say, through the first 7 games, out-rebounding your opponent by almost 10 rebounds per game. Your turnover ratios 17 to 12. Meanwhile, you're forcing 18 turnovers from your opponents. You're hitting 54% overall from the field. Opponents are shooting 42s. The stats show me that you're a lot of things right, Coach. Coach.
Those are all things that I look at as well. The thing that we don't want to talk about. Free throw percentage. Those are all things that we look at. I think, as me as a coach, I think rebounding is so important. So the fact that we are able to out-rebound teams like Kansas City and Emporia and Bueller and stuff like that is awesome. Stuff like that is awesome. Assist to turnover. We've also something that we've also emphasized. I think our guys have kind of taken pride. I know Carter is one guy. He's kind of gotten to the point where he doesn't care if he scores, and he wants to get assists, and he wants to get assists going. So that's kind of cool. So that's Carter can do that. Carter can do that. Some of those young guys can kind of learn.
You could almost take a stat sheet from somebody and just show me the assist to turnover ratio. Just give you, and I could probably get the ballpark of what the record is.
I agree. There's a lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that. If you look at assist to turnover, rebounding, those two things. If you looked at those two things, you could probably kind of figure out who actually won the game.
You're getting almost 14 offensive rebounds, and you're hitting 54%. So it's not a lot of offensive rebounds to get. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I'm pretty hard on our guys, especially our guards, Parker and Carter, and Dax, and making sure that they are crashing boards. And that's definitely on our scouting report tomorrow. 3 keys to win. One of them would probably be our guards getting in there, getting some offensive boards, helping Ian and Zay and Jake on
getting to the line. That's 16 times a game. That's not bad. So how do you coach free throws? I didn't think that would be a big issue.
I think so. I think so. It just comes down to mentally kind of getting over yourself and stuff like that. But I think I've tried to focus more on maybe shooting free throws after we do like a full shooting drills, so the guys are shooting tired throws when they're tired. Maybe making it a competition or if they shoot 10 free throws, they shoot 10 free throws, then they have to record and maybe face some consequences if they don't.
I hated that. I hated that.
Okay,
We're going to shoot the free throws after we've been running, and unless you hit like 5 in a row, then you get back on the line.
We do a drill called 30-second free throws. So one guy shoots free throws, one guy rebounds and runs. The third guy runs, then you shoot free throws. It's kind of a vicious cycle. And I don't think the guys necessarily like it. It's something that we probably need to do more of, so we improve that shooting percentage.
Okay, back at it. Garden City. They were really good last year. It was the best in the best Garden City High School history. Basically. I mean, as far as they got. They have a new coach. Tell me about Garden City.
Yeah, I mean last year they lose 6 seniors going into sub-state. We played them tough twice. We almost got them at home. We almost got them at home. We went 2 guard. When we went 2 guard, I think they got us by like something like 4 points or something like that. So I mean the Weesey kid on the inside, kid that you definitely respect. A lot of leadership, got a lot of leadership, win a lot of games. But this year they've got a little guard number 5, Emilio, who is very good job. He does a good job keeping his eyes up, guys running down. Looking for guys running down the court, and then they've got another guard, Burns, capable, and then they got a big guy, and then they got a big guy that played quite a bit last year. It doesn't seem like he's getting many minutes this year, but they've got athletes. They've got athletes. They've got close to 2,000 kids in their school, so we've definitely got to be ready. I'm trying to think of that guy's name. Come in and like three-pointers. There's number 20. There's number 20. There's some rebounding and stuff like that. But I mean, I think he could probably. If he wanted to put in a little bit more work, basketball player.
So you got Garden City, then Hutch a week tomorrow. That'll be a fun field house at the field house. They haven't drawn for Saline Invitational.
All that comes out January 10th. It's based off the record. So all the seating and stuff like that will come out.
So you had all these kids coming back, and some of the seniors have really stepped up and really improved their game. So you get your rotation, the way you want right now.
We've had a couple guys kind of roll their ankles a little bit, stuff like that. But they're healthy and stuff like that. I think we've got to figure out as far as a rotation. Our top 9 guys are through, and thankfully we got guys that can play guard inside. And play inside, so maybe a little bit tougher for other teams to prepare for us. But yeah, I think our top 9 to 10 are all solid, and we got a good rotation.
Thoughts on WAC going in? Hayes got to win. Hayes got to win right before the break over Liberal. On Tuesday night, Liberal got 92 to 89. Defensive stuff. I've been
able to watch Hayes, and I watched the Heights game against them, and they're really good. They're really good. They're really disciplined. There's a reason why they're top 6A every year. But Liberal, that game the other night, not a whole lot of defense. They came out and tried to press a little bit. Didn't necessarily work out for them. It seemed like that the team from Oklahoma was going to pull away. The Pfizer kid or the Liberal got hot. And then they got a Miramontes kid. He was all over the place. He was all over the place as far as like stuff like that. So I think Liberals improved from last year. Dodge played guard playing the other night. We were able to watch that. They're struggling a little bit. They lost a lot 2 years ago. But the Okora kid on the inside is really athletic. They've got some capable shooters. But I think if we stick together and keep working like we've been doing, I think we're definitely beating every team in the WAC.
We don't have the bracket, obviously. Teams that you'll see in
Salina. I mean, I think right now, just based off kind of my predictions, looking at everybody's records, I think right now we would be the 2 seed, play either Salina Central or Bueller again. The 1 seed right now would probably be Abilene. They're 6-0. Andover 4-2 is going to be the 3 seed. And then I think Wichita South on the same side of the bracket with Abilene.
It's always fun to see different teams.
Yeah, we're excited. I know Carter's got some buddies from Andover. They're the defending 5A champs. A lot of the reason why we wanted to play Andover. So I think ideally we would play them in the championship. We'll play them in the first round. whatever it takes. So we're excited to play Andover. We're excited to play
Cree with us here on Sports Day before I let you go. It's always let you go. It's always basketball season. Basketball plenty of things going on. Plenty of things going on. I mean, looking at schedule, you break it down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to be a dad for the third time. For the third time, know that. And you don't know that.
Yeah, we're just kind of waiting. We're just kind of waiting right now. It kind of seems like the baby arrive at any moment. I definitely don't put my ringer on silent right near the day. But yeah, we're excited. We're excited. We've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old right now. They're excited to have another addition to the family. And I think I've said this to a lot of people. I think every guy wants to have as many boys, and every lady wants to have a daughter. So my wife and I are kind of fighting over that. So like that. So, but we just hope the baby's healthy, and we're excited to have a third kid.
So Boyd, go Nolan. Go Nolan.
Nolan?
Yeah.
Nolan?
Yeah.
We were thinking Webby. Maybe Webster. Maybe Webster.
No, Nolan Webby. See, I always tried to get Nolan. Because Nolan Cromwell's is my idol. I got a Haley. And then Nolan for the second one. It turned out to be a Stephanie. For the third one, I did get a boy, and then I found out I wasn't in charge anymore. So it turned out to be a David. So that's who I thought the Nolan was going to come from Nolan Cromwell, the ransom ramble. That's true.
Kyle, thanks a bunch.
Thanks joining us here on Sports
From the
Day.
Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Zach Strite, commercial lender for Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Attention high school juniors. Explore your career paths at Barton Community College's Junior Day on February 14th. This fun and free day features an on-campus tour, giveaways, yard games, pizza, and did we mention $3,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs. Learn about a variety of career paths, some of which can get you into the workforce and making money in just one semester. Sign up online now through February 1st at juniorday.bartoncc.edu.
Extend the life of your equipment with Cenex Premium Greases. Engineered with quality-based oils and well-balanced formulas to protect equipment in a wide range of temperatures and tough conditions. The Cenex line of grease products offer excellent rust protection, water resistance, and anti-wear properties to extend equipment life. Cenex Grease delivers the dependability you need to keep your operation running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today, first time of the year, Panther wrestling coach Gannon Reichert. Good New Year, Coach?
Yeah, so far so good.
We'll get right into it. We'll get to boys and girls maybe a little bit this week, kind of a special week with no competition yet. So, know we talked about it before the break that rest was going to be a big deal. Feel like the kids got some much-needed downtime?
Yeah, so going into that break, I know we talked before, we had a ton of illness we were fighting, and then a few kids with some injuries, and we come back on the first there with our practice. We definitely looked a lot healthier and sharper, and everyone looks like they're ready to start kicking some butt.
So Panthers got some good news really on both sides before the end of the year. Both sides move up to number 4 in their respective rankings. Boys were already at number 5, so maybe not a big shock, but Lady Panthers is a really big jump for them.
Yeah, so that movement with the Lady Panthers, that was pretty awesome, and I think we're starting to have some things fall into place and getting some weight classes figured out, and then some concepts are starting to click for the girls as well, and it's going to be kind of cool to see what they're capable of as we move forward with the year.
And I know the rankings are kind of more fun for the media than anybody else, and maybe the kids enjoy it too, but did some previews over the winter break, and Wichita's kind of the hotbed. You had Goddard win 8 straight 5A titles. Mays won it last year, but they're up in 6A now. Valley Center and Newton join you guys in the top 5. you've seen some of those teams early on in the season, kind of how nice to be mentioned in the same name as kind of perennial powerhouses.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I know that we got some pairing ups that I want to kind of see wrestle that we didn't have available in the first year, and we saw some of them. And like I said, we got some of our kids back that are injured early in the year, so I'd kind of like to see where we're at team point wise as we move forward here on them.
Along the lines of ranking, one of the reasons I like wrestling is there's so many options for a coach, especially at a duel where you can move kids around. But when you've got several stacked up at the middle weights, so Goddard's Jacob Goodwin wins the title at 144 last year. He moves up to 150, but that's where Cooper Lyles is for you, and he was a state medalist last year. What are your options when it comes to that, especially when Cooper's got Jay Sharts at 157 and somebody below him?
Yeah, so right now as a new coach, it's kind of hard to say. I don't have that history and, rapport with the kids quite yet, especially Cooper with him being injured early on. And so I haven't seen him wrestle, especially kids at his level yet. But moving forward, I'd like to just kind of see, him get some mat time with those and kind of see where he's at and, what we can go from there or what we need to do, prepare. Personally, I'd like to just see him compete and train where he's at and beat the kids. But.
And, yeah, I mentioned Jay Sharts, so he's number 2 at 157. Could have been his year to be number 1, but Hutch has a kid that finished 4th at 150. Now he's at 157, so they put him ahead. Is that just a case of, hey, it's 5A wrestling, if you want to win a state title, you're going to have to wrestle some good kids?
No, yeah, I mean, that's wrestling in general. We're going to have to compete to get first. Like you said, maybe those rankings are more fun for the kids in the media than the coach, but I don't see any problem with, going off face-off on that, and like to see Sharts compete and train for that first-place spot.
Yeah, the other side of that, is it a great spot to be in as a coach where your biggest concern is, where do I put all these talented wrestlers?
Yeah, I mean, that is a nice problem to have. It would be nicer if they were a little bit more spread out. We're kind of stacked there in the middle weights and actually in the heavier weights too. But we got some good kids all around, and we're just trying to, get the best lineup as possible.
Talking to Panther Wrestling coach Gannon Reichert. Back to action Saturday in Dodge City, but kind of the crazy deal with that one, an early leave time. Expect any negative implications for getting on the road at 4:50 in the morning?
Oh, I mean, much to the chagrin of the kids, we do some morning weights a couple times a week, and that is not only for the strength training, but to help those wrestlers get used to those early mornings and long days that comes with the sport of wrestling on those tournaments. I mean, some kids may not be at their absolute optimum, but that's also the nature of the beast with wrestling. And as I tell the kids, if you're competing at 100%, you aren't training hard enough. So they get the bus ride to sleep as well.
And one more here, wrestling, kind of that sport that ends before most of them, so you got basically till the end of February. What are you looking forward to this next 2 months?
Yeah, really fleshing everything out and just getting that best lineup and getting those kids like Cooper some mat time with some level wrestlers that are kind of on the same level as him, and seeing where he's at and figuring out how to get that first place team title at state.
Panther Wrestling coach Gannon Reichert, Happy New Year, and look forward to some coverage this year.
Yeah, thank you.
More sports day after this.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Now, in its second decade. It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Glad to be back in the saddle today. We'll be doing it tomorrow here on Sports Day. We'll talk with Connor Nickel, Sunflower Sports Solutions, and we'll also talk to Barton men's coach Jeremy Combs. That's on the Friday show tomorrow at 12:30 right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.